Beep, 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 beep. Well, today on my radar we have schools. Yes, let's talk about schools. So a couple of things. Two things again. Seeing lots of things coming together that seem to be interesting enough to share in one go. So here we've got the first one here. This is very straightforward again. Links will be in the doobries. There's an organisation called Safe Schools Alliance, which if you're not very familiar with, go and have a look. They're at Safe Schools UK on Twitter. And they've recently released a new report, in fact, on the 30th of April. So it's worth giving a shout out. Now, this report, right, which they've sent to the independent press, peers, think tanks, Victor Madrigal, that arse from Europe, the UN, need I say more, and Commons Women and Equalities Committee. That's Caroline Pokes, isn't it? We encourage you to read and send to your own schools. So I'm putting the link in the doobries so you can do this. You've got to get it to the schools as quickly as possible. What it is essentially saying that there is a child protection failure, that as opposed to a safeguarding lens, which should be the primary lens through which things are seen, they're not using a safeguarding lens, which is how we end up with the likes of people going in and telling them, throw a dice and stick your finger out your bum or whatever they did. Right, okay, it's all that stuff in it. And, yeah, what could you do with a nose and a clitoris? Draw it. What were they called? The Proud Trust. You know, those weirdos. Anybody like that, right? That's going in and going, saying to kids, do you masturbate? We're going to teach you. It's all that stuff that they're worried about, which is fair enough. You don't need to teach a kid to masturbate. Are you wanking regularly, Johnny? They're just weirdos, right? Okay. This stuff, we've covered this stuff before. Right, so there's a report. The links you need are in the doobries, right? Okay, so that you've got it. You need to send it to schools. Get it out to schools as much as possible. Email it. Go and find some schools and email it. Just look up their email address, right? Please see attached for the head teacher. Go and email it now. Do it. Do it now. No, not now. Listen to me first, then do it after. Right, okay. That's the first one, which I thought was interesting. So it makes perfect sense then for the next one to come along, which I'm particularly pleased about. Having spoken to a number of people that are involved in this, and yes. It's glorious. Parents of trans pupils, speechy marks, right, plan to sue the government after teachers kept their children's gender switches secret. This is interesting, okay. This is the type of thing we don't see often. And I think we need to see more of it. And I think this is how we make things change in a very, very quick way. A group of parents whose children have changed gender plan to sue, they haven't changed anything, who changed gender plan to sue the Department for Education, the D of E, okay, for not protecting them from trans ideology in schools. This is a great idea. They accuse ministers of failing to issue guidance to teachers and letting damaging gender ideology pushed by LGBT lobbying groups take roots in thousands of schools. Well, it's TQI, really, but we'll give it to you, because LGBTQI and these are bumps and daisy people. It's got nothing to do with gay men and lesbians, just so that you know, all right? Some teachers have not told parents when their children switch gender. What? My child's got a mental illness and your teacher's helping cover it up. Right? Really? Okay, so we know that this idea of gender dysphoria, which is just distress, which is an amalgam of many different things, many of which are red flags, the teacher is affirming the mental illness and then keeping it from the parents along with the help of the school. We identify who these people are and we get them out. Fire them. That's what you do. They've got to go. We need a clear out. I've said it before. It's become a common theme, isn't it? Yep. Seems to me that the education system needs to empty its bowels quickly. See which turds float to the top, shall we? So here we go. Some teachers have not told parents. Others have been accused of encouraging pupils to transition even after NHS psychologists warn against it. You've seen them. We've seen them on Libs of TikTok in America. You've seen them on Libs of TikTok over here, you know, going, I have the progress flag in my class, and I wear earrings, one with a penis and the other one with a vulva, just so that people know that I'm not human. Wankers. Barrister Dr. Anna Lutfi, who I've met, Anna's wonderful, who is bringing the case, told the Mail on Sunday the parents wish to bring a joint claim in negligence against the Department of Education for a failure to act on the foreseeable harms caused by to children by gender ideology. Gender ideology, which the case would seek to define in law. Ooh, good. That's a bum clencher for the weirdos, isn't it? Yeah, we're going to define you. And then once we've defined you, we're going to define you out of existence. You critical social justice nut jobs. LGBTQI plus sans, knees and bumps a daisy. Goodbye. See you later. Gender ideology hopefully will be defining case. You see, this kind of law that sets precedent, this kind of case, kind of group action, which is rare in the UK, much more common in the USA. So this is the first one of a couple that we're hoping to. So I'm involved in someone else, which is a different ballgame altogether. But we'll see how many people come forward and wish to be part of it, and we'll see whether there's actually anything to get from it, because we want to make a few of these people that have been involved, particularly in the heartlands of the gay world, who have been so badly captured from, Brighton, Manchester, London. We'll start a case that will hopefully mean that they will have to answer for what they've done in court under the Equality Act, and being sued by various people. We're now well into double figures. So I'm interested to see whether this goes anywhere off the back of this. It may mean we can try something else as well. We'll see. Right, so it is the belief that sexual differences are not important and can be changed or ignored. That's what gender identity ideology believes. It's not just that, but that's at the heart of it. The DfE has done nothing to prevent this. They have recommended materials from controversial groups such as Stonewall, who have been accused of misrepresenting the law when advising schools on gender issues. The case will be brought by the Bad Law Project campaign. It comes after the Policy Exchange think tank warned that many secondary schools allow children to present as the opposite gender without informing their parents. My child is so mentally ill they think they're the wrong sex, but I'm not going to tell the parents. We'll just call them what they want to be called, and everything will be happy and rosy. You imagine if they'd said to a self-harmer, here's a toolkit. These swines, you're supposed to be teachers. Teachers, an honourable profession, and you absolutely epitomise everything that's wrong with people who infiltrate that particular profession and then behave as if you're an activist, not a teacher. The claimants include a mother whose daughter's private school encouraged the autistic 16-year-old to change gender without her consent, ignoring NHS gender psychologists who warned against social transitioning. The parents of a teenage boy claim his school hid his gender transition until teachers told them they would address him by a girl's name. He has since suffered psychologically. Of course he would. He's living in unreality. The mother of a 16-year-old boy said his college ignored the advice of the NHS psychotherapist who said that he should not be allowed to transition to female. Well, he can't transition to female. What he shouldn't have been allowed to do was think like an idiot. But of course he was affirmed. Because he was 16 and probably desperate and maybe even gay. And he found himself in the hands of the very people who would eradicate his existence. Gender identity ideologues, the homophobia, the misogyny, the absolute hate for anything different. The college ignored emails with regard to safeguarding my child. The college have shown zero accountability. The DfE needs to act now. Now, Education Secretary Gillian Keegan and Equality Minister Kemi Badenoch are drawing up guidelines that are expected to tell schools they must inform parents if pupils want to change gender, start using a new name or wear a different uniform. And the DfE said the guidance will clarify schools' legal position and the importance of involving parents. It's not enough. It's not enough, right? We need a full public investigation into this, which must be exploratory, right? Which must identify where this has been going on, and there must be people from the government who represent the public visiting these places and ensuring that those that have practiced this are removed from positions of power. From any position, whether they be the head teacher or not. But it's interesting, this court case is going to shine some light, and it's going to do so in a way which means that they're attempting to prove that there has been a negligence in what the DfE should have done, and that has affected so many people they're going to bring this kind of class action suit. It'll be interesting to see what happens when we try and do the same thing, or at least begin to explore what it may mean to do the same thing, on the basis that there has been a massive breach of the Equality Act 2010 by multiple organisations and multiple companies and multiple bars and multiple clubs within the Manchester environs, and that has in fact created a hostile environment for gay and lesbian people who are protected characteristic under the Equality Act. And that'll be the same type of thing, where you get together 20 people, for example, they all take part in an action. The people that are sued, if they lose, then have to pay each person. So probably, 100k a piece would certainly hurt people, organisations enough to make them stand up and and pay attention, I would have thought. So lawfare, again, lawfare and money, follow the money. When it comes to getting the businesses and the organisations to get back in line and behave themselves, this is the only way you're going to be able to do it. So thanks, folks. Great to speak to you. I'll see you soon. Have a fun day. Bye.